What up, sports fans all over the world? It's your boy, Mac the Giants fan, here with my guys, the Horsemen. Got my guy Adam Costas, Zion Zenith, and the wind beneath our wings. The angel always looking down at us, NYG Jeffy T. This is the Premium Takes Podcast. What is good, everybody? What's going on out there, everybody? Premium Takes Podcast here with my guys Adam and Zion, man. How y'all feeling tonight, brothers?
Good.
I'm good, ready to go. Let's get it going. Thank you guys so much for being here. Let's get it.
Yes, indeedy. That's what we here to do. Week 1 in the books, man. Some of the takeaways, some of the big headlines from Week 1. Obviously, we know the biggest headline: the injury to Aaron Rodgers. Monday Night Football didn't even last one drive with the New York Jets in this season, man. What do you think this? How do you think this impacts the New York Jets season, fellas?
Well, apparently it's my fault because last week, so I think I mentioned coming out one play and blowing out his Achilles, according to Zion, who informed me of this. So I do apologize, Jet fans, if I cursed you in any way. I did not mean to do that. I was just reminiscing about an old quarterback that I saw, and apparently they brought him to be a captain, and the juju didn't fall that far from the tree, and look what happened. So I apologize.
All right.
I want to just point out I it's funny because I remember us talking about that. I don't know if you basically like said it or anything, but I remember, because that episode, me and Mac was just so hyped for Aaron Rodgers, seeing what he can do with the Jets. You know what I'm saying? I know you was hyped up for him too, Adam, and I didn't want to like call you and be like, yo, you're the reason why Aaron Rodgers got hurt. But I'm like, dude, remember that episode when you brought up that quarterback from 1999? And then look what happened. And then you know what? It's just it's just sad, man. This franchise can't get a break. They can't get a break. No matter what, they just can't get a break. And it's just sad. I'm starting to think that damn field is cursed, the stadium is cursed, the organization is cursed. I mean, like the owner got a big chain, says Woody. You know what I'm saying? Like there's talks about him calling Kirk Cousins. Why? You know what I'm saying? I don't understand that. I think ride it out with Zach Wilson. You see that Aaron Rodgers does want to come back. And I'm gonna pass it over to Mac because there's really not much to say on this for me because like I just feel like they're cursed. They can't get it right. It's just sad, man. Go ahead, Mac. I got a phone call in the chat.
Look, it's the New York Jets, man. At the end of the day, we I mean, people didn't necessarily. I don't want to say I saw this coming with Aaron Rodgers getting a devastating season-ending injury, but at the end of the day, it's the New York Jets, and when everybody was getting all hyped, the New York Jets this and New York Jets that, somehow they're going to get jetsed, so to speak. It's something about certain franchises that are just snake bitten, man, and they happen to be one of them, man. Things just never seem to go right for the New York Jets, even when they look absolutely perfect, man. It's unfortunate, and it's fortunate thing for the New York Jets is they still have a really good football team. You saw that defense on display Monday night, and they got the weapons on offense, man. If Zach Wilson can just play competent football, man, who knows? They can still probably turn this into a successful year, man, and make the best of it, man. So it's unfortunate for the league. Everybody was excited for this New York Jets team. And I still think they're a team that you can keep an eye on, and I think they're a team that you can still have some of that good energy with, for because like I said, that defense definitely is
Yes.
going to keep them in football games all year long, man. That defense, as you saw what they did to Josh Allen on Monday night, had Josh Allen just completely discombobulated, 4 turnovers. So they got the stuff. They just got to weather the storm with Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson's got to come out there. He's preparing to be the starter. I mean, he did come into that game as the backup, not expecting necessarily to really truly play. You know how that goes with backups in practice. So maybe we'll see a little bit better version of Zach Wilson, even though he's got a tough task ahead of him, as us New York Giant fans know. The Dallas Cowboys waiting for him in week 2, man. So we'll see, man. But that should be a fun game. We'll be talking about that a little bit later. But
Absolutely. I wanted to get into that real fast, Mac, before we change the subject. I'm sorry. I do want to touch on that because like it damn near looked like Josh Allen was just going in there and keeping them damn near in the game. Josh Allen was looking like year 2 Josh Allen, just out here playing Madden. When you easily can move the ball down the field like you did that last drive, you don't need to go get everything at once. You know what I'm saying? I was so mad at Josh Allen that game. Shout out to the Jets defense for keeping the Jets in the game, and I'm glad that you brought that up because if it wasn't for that defense, the season's done. The season's game over. Like, you lose Aaron Rodgers, it's done. Zach Wilson can manage the game. You said that perfectly, and thank God for that defense. I'm happy that you brought that up.
but that's one thing about Josh Allen, though. I think people, it's kind of been masked because of some of his gaudy numbers the last couple of years. Josh Allen is an absolute. He turns the ball over at a pretty high rate, and I think people just don't notice it as much because he does other things really, really well also. But he's got to kind of tone that down a little bit. He does tend to be a little reckless with the football in times. I mean, he fumbles a lot more than people realize, and he's just a little reckless with the football. But at the same time, he also does some really productive things, and I think that's what kind of masked his turnover issues. But any other storylines from Week 1 you guys want to touch on?
Yeah, real fast. I do want to touch on Tua. You know what I'm saying? Like, F these reporters, man. These reporters are just dumb. They're just always gonna hate on you. You know what I'm saying? People hated on me when he was coming on and be like, "Dad, that's the mobile Drew Brees. Just watch it." And now that he has a team, like the reporter's like, "Hey, what about your deep ball accuracy?" And then Tua replied with, "Yeah, 400 and whatever yardage he got." Like that was, I love it. I love this new side of Tua. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just fun to see. I'm local, I gotta represent, gotta represent for my Hawaiian, you know what I'm saying? Samoan, but from St. Louis High School, from the islands. Um, Absolutely love what he's doing with the Dolphins, man. And I absolutely love Mike. Mike is one of my favorite coaches to watch. I look at the Dolphins, uh it's sad. Like if people would think I'm a Dolphins fan because I'm always on their YouTube channel and stuff like that. But I'm a Giants fan for life. I just love Micah, I love what he's doing with the organization. And boy, was I wrong about that secondary. I just want to point that out before we move on.
What's going on, Mitch? Thanks for stopping in. No mess, no nest, no Jets. Logan, appreciate y'all, man. But yeah, that game was. What's going on, Wells? Thanks for stopping in, bro. Yeah, that game was an absolute marathon. That Chargers Miami game, that was at one game of the week by far, man. That was just a fun game to be a part of. People got their money's worth out there for that. When bought a ticket for that game, you got your money's worth. That game went right down to the wire. Two high-powered offenses going back and forth, man. It was phenomenal, man. It was just a good game to see to it. Those wide receivers, man. Tyreek Hill, he might just get that 2,000, man. He might just get to that 2,000. He keeps having games like he did on Sunday. That was incredible. Nothing they could do could slow Tyreek Hill down in that game. Absolutely phenomenal stuff to watch, man. And the Dolphins' defense is also it's pretty damn good too, man. Even though they gave up all those points, I know it's hard to but that defense is capable of making some things happen as well. And they got the key stops when they needed to down the stretch to hang on and win that football game. So great game, man. How do you feel about it, Adam?
That game was an absolute barn burner. They couldn't do anything other than enjoy it. What is funny is like you see the other side. Herbert, he had a decent day as well, right? He didn't have 400 yards, but he would have a normal solid day. You'd be like, oh, solid performance. Tua is doing things we didn't expect him to do. I surely didn't expect him to do, and you can see the maturation process of him and what he can do, and he's elevating the talent around him. Like even though he has Tyreek Hill, he's not just throwing screen passes and dropping it off and dumping it off. He's stepping up in the pocket, throwing 40-yard bombs, hitting guys on the rope. And it's really a testament to Tua and what he's done in his development. And we really should really be talking about Tua possibly in the MVP race if he keeps this up. You know, um, he was their best. He was their best option when he was on the field last year. So he took off right where he left off last year. And if they listen, I said my dark horse team was Miami for the Super Bowl. They are a team that could easily represent with that high flyer offense in Vegas this year.
Yeah, good stuff. Would you what you guys feel about the rookie quarterbacks this past week? Rookies in general, rookie performances in general, but particularly the quarterbacks. Man, we had three of them, three starting. Bryce Young, C.J. Stroud, Anthony Richardson, all getting the starts. How do you guys feel about those young men's performance week one?
Well,
Debuts.
AR-15, which he's not called anymore, but he had a solid start and showed you why he's the prospect that he was and why I was banging the table when this guy was a projected pick in the mid rounds when the Giants were picking. I was like, yo, move heaven and earth and get this guy because you could do wonders with him. He is going to be a star in this league. Um, and he's not even on a good team with a good coach yet, right? He's on the Colts team. He kept him in the game against Jacksonville. He showed you his running ability. He showed you a couple deep balls. There's some refinement in this game, which you expected. And I didn't expect him to start this early, but when you're playing Gardner Minshew and you're the fifth or fourth overall pick, forget what number he was, but I know he was top five, you're going to start early, and that's what he did. I was pretty impressed with what he did. Let's see if he can keep it up. And if he does, he reminds me of a blend of like Cam Newton and I don't know, man, like so many different quarterbacks he is. He can run, he can throw, he's got some swagger to him. He's going to be fun to watch.
I absolutely agree with Adam. Well, as much as I loved watching Anthony Richardson do his thing, it kind of shocked me on how it was just so easy for him to flow out there. You know what I'm saying? And then they don't even have Jonathan Taylor back yet. Just imagine when they get Jonathan Taylor back, and for them to keep it close with the Jacksonville Jaguars, that a lot of people have as a playoff team. This Colts defense surprised me. I know we're on rookies quarterbacks, but goddamn, the Colts defense showed up. And I'm excited to even see them against Ryan's team down in Houston this Sunday. That's going to be a fun matchup. We get two rookie quarterbacks, C.J. Stroud, through his first pass to himself. That's amazing to see. You know what I'm saying? Bryce Young definitely struggled. He's been against Atlanta's defense. I think Atlanta has a pretty underrated defense this year, and obviously he got it together late. But I'm gonna have to agree with Adam. I think AR-15 or Anthony Richardson, whatever he goes by now. I think he had an amazing weekend. You know what I'm saying? Didn't get any passing, but got two running. So that's what's up.
Yeah, definitely agree. Anthony Richardson out of the three definitely had the most success and looked the best out of the three. I mean, he went out there, almost got a big upset win against the Jacksonville Jaguars week one. How big would that have been?
They're more
And
than a playoff team. They're more of like a Super Bowl contender. So, like, I know you said they're fighting for the playoffs. A lot of people are picking them to be a dark horse to win with that defense and the maturation of Trevor Lawrence. So, I know people, you said playoffs. I'm thinking this is bigger than playoffs. So to hang with a team that has that type
That's
of
true.
aspiration is pretty good.
That Calvin Ridley acquisition, takes them to
Listen,
that
man,
that type of level. I agree with you.
listen. Calvin Ridley was good. We knew it was going to be good. We predicted that he
Yeah.
was going to be good. He came out and is showing you why they went out and got him. And he's going to be if he stays healthy, boy. Trevor Lawrence, Tua Tagovailoa, 1 and 2 in the MVP race, man. Maybe that's what we're looking at.
well, we will see down the line for that one. But yeah, as far as C.J. Stroud going against that Baltimore team, I mean, C.J. Stroud's probably in a tough situation in Houston right now. The team is definitely trying to rebuild some things down there. He, ups and downs. He had some ups and downs in that game. Baltimore was really gift wrapping a lot of things for him. He couldn't take advantage of it too much, But at the end of the day, these guys, I'm gonna look forward to these young guys developing, man. A little fun fact, man. What other and Hall of Fame, Hall of Fame legendary quarterback threw their first ever career pass to themselves
Brett for
many moons ago.
Brett. Was it Brett?
It was Brett Favre.
It was Brett. Yes.
Many moons ago. He threw his first ever career pass to himself. So, CJ Stroud, I mean, not CJ Stroud, Bryce Young, maybe you could be
Man,
on
his career
something
was
there.
garbage, though. Brett was garbage.
But as far as that was the rookie quarterbacks we was talking about, let's talk about a few second-year quarterbacks that also went out there Sunday and had some really up and down performances. Let's go with Sam Howell in Washington, Kenny Pickett in Pittsburgh, and man, who's the other one I was thinking about? Oh, I lost my train of thought.
Ridley in Atlanta.
Well, yeah, we can talk
Jordan
about
Love.
him too.
Jordan Love
Jordan
in
Love.
Ridley.
Well, Jordan Love is not the second, but yeah, we
Oh
can
yeah, but
talk
who
about
was
him
the
too.
second year?
It
Well,
was
I'll
somebody
start
else.
from the top.
Yeah.
Sam Howell, I don't think was as bad as people think. It was his first regular season game. Well, second regular season game, really. His first game starting. Was he sloppy with the football? This is why I tell you about preseason matters. I think he would have been a little bit crisper with that, but he did enough to win the game. He was efficient. If you were on our podcast the other night, NYG threw him out with the bathwater and said he's not the guy, he's not it. I'm like, yo, can we get the guy 17 games before we write his obituary about being a bust or not? And mind you, he's a fifth round pick. So anything that you get above, let's say, 3,500 yards that's a solid career because that guy's not supposed to be anything. However, if he exceeds those numbers, it's going to be because that's who he was supposed to be, right? Remember, Sam Howell, again, I keep banging the table saying that he was one of the guys coming out in the top 10 in the draft after the 2021 draft. So I'm going to give him some time. Let's see how he performs. He has to develop. As for Kenny Pickett, and since this is my game, the 49er game, let me tell you, they loved Pittsburgh, right? They loved him. He had that phenomenal preseason game where he was like what 5 of 5 for 86 yards, and they're like, oh, we don't need to play you anymore. He went up against the juggernaut of a defense. Hard for anybody to play against that team. But he showed his colors. The 49ers made him look like a rookie. They disguised their coverages. They hit him on every play. They made him a little, I wouldn't say rattled is the right word, but they got him throwing the ball a little quickly. And let's be honest, they couldn't hang offensively with that team. Defensively, on the other hand, Pittsburgh, TJ Watt had 3 sacks. That guy is going to be fighting for defensive player of the year. 3 sacks against the 49ers. But it goes to show needs a little bit more seasoning. Again, this is Kenny Pickett's 7th or 8th game. Didn't even have a full season under his belt. They say to wait at least their first 16 and you can get an idea of who they are. And we'll see. Pittsburgh can bounce back now. I know they play the Browns this week. Let's see if they can bounce back. And as for who was the third guy? Was it Desmond Ridder?
Desmond Ridder.
Desmond Ridder, I like him, but I don't know what he is. I think he's going to be a game manager type. Probably a better version of Daniel Jones, what you want probably Daniel Jones to be. This is what Desmond Ridder is going to be. I mean, he only had 115 yards, but when you're dominating the game that you did, you don't need to necessarily have crazy stats. But, we'll find out if he's the guy. Arthur Smith brought him in. He's supposed to be a quarterback guru. It could be like a Ryan Tannehill for that team. Doesn't have to do much. So, again, I get the guy that had the most yardage and the guy that impressed me the most was Sam Howell because he came out with a victory. He did exactly what he needed to do. Whether you like him or not, you ask your quarterback to win the game, and that's what he ended up doing when the defense gave him turnovers. He put his offense in position to score points. Atlanta, they played a team that they're obviously better than. We'll see down the road how good these quarterbacks are. And we may need to take some time to let them develop. The problem with the NFL is this, right? When we were growing up, me, Mac, and Zion, towards the end of the year, because we were football watching, you usually got to sit a guy. Aaron Rodgers sat for 3 years before he started, right? So you got time to develop people. Oh, Jordan Love is the guy we'll bring up next. But you got time to sit behind people and learn. Mahomes did it too with Alex Smith. Same thing with Sam Howell. So you got to let these guys take what they've learned and what they absorbed from these veterans, and away you go, right? So we'll see what happens. I know Marcus Mariota isn't the greatest example to take notes from if I'm Desmond Ritter. I mean, no offense to that guy, but if he's in your quarterback room, you're probably not getting better. You're probably getting worse. So, and then as for Jordan Love, I think it was a pretty impressive performance. I mean, he moved the offense downfield. He looked competent. Dare I say, the Green Bay Packers found a guy for the next 10 years of their existence. That would be kind of crazy, right? Imagine if they've had 3 quarterbacks since 1992. That would be insane. That would be insane. So good for him. Again, Sam Howell and Jordan Love, you got to give credit to them. They both won their games. They did what they had to do. The other two left a little bit more on the table to be desired. And Justin Fields is a second-year quarterback. Boy, has he got a lot of refinement.
Yeah, interesting stuff. I kind of agree with pretty much most of what you had to say, Adam. There, that was really good stuff there. As far as Desmond Ritter goes, I think he's just like you said, he's gonna kind of be more of that game manager type. They're gonna be relying on that run game. Two really phenomenal running backs the Atlanta Falcons had there, and Tyler Algiers, who actually got more touches than the rookie Bijan Robinson. I don't expect that to sustain necessarily. I think they're just kind of easing Bijan in a little bit while they got a guy like Tyler Algier that can carry the load a little bit more for right now. But I think we'll start
That
seeing
guy got
that
1,000 yards
swinging
last
more
year.
in Bijan's favor. He did. I get it, but Bijan Robinson is one of those kind of prospects, man, that you don't draft him to not play him.
No, no.
You know what I mean? So it's just that it just is what it is. I get it. That's why a lot of people were stunned with the draft pick in the first place, just because the fact that they had Tyler Algiers that had that successful season a year ago. Why
You
would
got to
you
get
go
Brees
and draft a
Hall.
running back in the first round? But Bijan Robinson is one of those kind of talents that's just hard to pass up on. And they both had phenomenal football game performances a week ago. But Sam Howell, I agree with you. Sam Howell also, like you said, I think by this being only his second career start, you do got to kind of you take it a little easy. You got to see what this guy really is going to have a chance, what he got a chance to develop into. It wasn't nearly a perfect game. He took a lot of got sacked, got hit a lot, got sacked a lot, made a couple of mistakes, but that's to be expected only in his second career start. I mean, going against a defense that was a little better than probably people expected it to be against the Arizona Cardinals team in general that looked a little better than most people gave him credit for. So, hats off to Sam Howell. He still dug deep, found a way to get the W, man. And like you gotta let it play out and see. So I definitely agree with that assessment, Adam. You gotta let it play out before we can make any real judgment on Sam Howell. As far as Kenny Pickett, I think part of the issue part of the issue with Kenny Pickett was it's just he kind of had the success that he had a year ago when he had to start 6 or 7 starts a year ago, and then to come out there and granted it was against a phenomenal defense in the San Francisco 49ers, but at the end of the day, it was a rough day at the office for Kenny Pickett, man. So they're going to be looking for a lot more out of that young man in Pittsburgh, and
Doesn't get any
hopefully,
easier against Cleveland. I mean, their defense is pretty good.
yeah, hopefully this young man can turn things around and they can make things a little bit get things going again, man. Because there was a rough day at the office for him. What you guys, Zion?
Yeah, I like your guys' points. Made some good points. Agree with most of them. Getting back on Pickett, like Max said, I mean, like I don't hold nothing against him. He did lose Johnson early on in the game as well. So that has to account for something. And plus, you're going against one of the best defenses in the league. You know what I'm saying? I have them right next to Dallas and right next to the Jets. You know what I'm saying? And Adam just brought up the Browns. They're pretty good as well. You're gonna see them next. So I don't really look at Kenny Pickett's performance and really not concerned. With Sam, you guys said it perfectly. What is it? It's his second story. What do you expect the kid to do? You know what I'm saying? I don't care if it's against Carolina. I mean, because the Cardinals, the Cardinals showed up and, it was a good game. And yeah, he threw an interception, but at the end of the day, I mean, like it's a second story. He has the offense to do it. But the running back Robertson and with Terry and all Dotson and all the weapons he has around him on that offense. I could see him as the year goes on get better. We'll look back at it. We'll come back to him. As far as Desmond goes, I just believe that Mac hit it on the nail. Like you gotta get Robertson established, like they did. Tyler's phenomenal. That's two running back by position, two killers. And then he only passed for like I believe less than 20 times because it's going to be one first type of team, right? But then when he starts passing, then you're going to see those weapons like your Drake Londons of the world and like your Tyreek Hills of the world, like your Hollins of the world. Like Hollins is not really a weapon, but Hollins is gonna get his too. You're gonna see them start producing, and then that's how Davis and Miller is gonna kill you because you're gonna think about the run, it's gonna set up the pass. You know what I'm saying? So he's going to kill you at his legs too. You haven't seen it because a lot of people forget that the Carolina Panthers has pretty good players on defense with a pretty good coaching staff. So I think going forward, Desmond Rivers, I don't expect him to be no like Jalen Hurts anytime soon, but he's going to have his moments. And getting back to Jordan Love, boy, was I wrong. I give this kid absolutely like I was wrong on him. You know what I'm saying? The reason why I'm saying that now is because this kid was out. Like literally, I looked at his receiving core and I basically said, "Who does he have?" You know what I'm saying? And like one guy was out, and I'm like, "No, well, now who really does he have?" And then I totally disrespected Aaron Jones. Totally forgot about Aaron Jones. I forgot that guy is just a killer. All you need is Aaron Jones to apparently like the guy threw for 3 touchdowns, like made it look easy. And I don't care if people say it's against the Bears. The Bears is a changed team. You may not have seen it this week because it's week 1, but the Bears got a good defense this year. I really feel it's underrated. They're probably only going to win like 6 games, guys, but I believe they do have a good defense this year. And for him to go out there and just take them to school with the receivers he had, like I give him nothing but respect. And I could be wrong about him, and Adam is right. I mean, like if they get it right 3 times in a row, like that's it's the NFL. You don't do that in the FNF. Like this, it's a cheat code. You know what I'm saying? Green Bay got the cheat code, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, good stuff. Jordan Love, yeah, I'm being critical of the kid, and it's still, he still got to show me
Too
a little
early.
bit more.
Yeah,
But at the end of the day, he looked good on Sunday, and I'm not
it's a
going to take that
one.
away from the kid by no means. Uh, the Cincinnati Bengals, man. This is a team, man, like that. A lot of people have like a Super Bowl type of team right now, and I get that it's only one game, but it's a division game. In-state rival, Cleveland Browns, man, and Cincinnati throws up 3 points on the board, man. And that with Jamar Chase, T. Higgins on the field, Joe Burrow, Joe Mixon. You think there's any room for concern in Cincinnati, man? I mean, just based off of that performance, even
No,
though it's only week 1.
no, because last year they had the same thing happen to them. Joe Burrow didn't play at all because his appendix blew up, and he came out in the first 2 games. They looked like shit against the first game they played, then the Cowboys. So um, I think they'll get it together. They're a tough division. Joe Burrow hasn't played well against the Browns in his entire career, so chalk it up to probably that as well. I mean, a lot of things happened this week that people don't play well against their teams. That's what happens. So, um, I think they'll be fine. He's Joe Cool for a reason. I trust him. I think they're going to be just fine. I don't think they play. I think they play a team that they can beat this week. Not mistaken. Let me go check. They played the Ravens last week. Oh, no, they played the
Played the
Ravens.
Ravens
They
on
played the Ravens
Sunday.
this week. So it'll be their home opener. I think they're going to come out and have a better showing. Remember, the Ravens didn't have a great offensive performance either. They had Zay Flowers, Odell Beckham Jr., and all that, and their quarterback kind of struggled as well. So I expect them to come out and show out for their fans and right the ship and get this thing rolling.
We talking about
I
the
mean, we'll see.
Bengals?
I mean, Cincinnati. Yeah, Cincinnati. The thing with this
I'll go
team
after you,
that
Rick.
the only thing about it, I get that how they started off the same way kind of a year ago, but you still expect more out of a team. I mean, Joe Burrow just signed a big deal. They come out and with the firepower alone that they have on offense, 3 points is just. I get the weather was shitty, but three
I
points
mean,
is
he
you
hadn't
just like to see
practiced
it.
for weeks.
I mean,
Yeah, that's
I
my
get
point I
that,
was gonna
Adam.
make.
I
This
get that. I get
season,
that. I understand. But just when you look at the round and you see the Jamar Chases and the T Higgins, like I said, these are two number one receivers at your disposal. Like I said, you got a solid running back, a top 10 running back, maybe Joe Mixon. get the offensive line ain't the greatest, but it ain't the New York Giants offensive line either. And I get that, but it's just that I don't know. It's just a disappointing in state. Like I said, you see it against the Cleveland Browns, division opponent, week one. It was just kind of like just what's going on with the Bengals. I get it. At the same time, I know they're a good enough team, turn things around like they did a year ago. So I'm not right. I'm definitely by no means writing this team off because they got the skills to put it all together as they had proven before. But it's just kind of still was a head scratching loss to lose in that fashion because it's not even so much that they lost; it's just the way in which they lost, and which is like they
Well,
just
hey,
couldn't do anything.
I picked them to win. I picked them to lose anyway, so it's probably not a concern to me because I picked the Cleveland Browns.
This is the way I look at it. This is the way I look at it. Like I ain't like I understand the point, Mac, and I see your point. I agree with some of it. This is why I look at it. Like Zach Taylor is the kind of coach, but I noticed is he doesn't play in the preseason. Don't get me wrong. I was MAD. I was mad as hell at the Giants. But then part of it was like, yo, like you guys are stuck in the preseason because you guys didn't play the preseason. Zach Taylor doesn't play the preseason. The Bengals last year came out and Joe Burrow doesn't play the preseason, looks sloppy as hell. Like the same thing happened this year.
Practice. That's the thing. He didn't practice.
But same thing. He didn't practice, and even if he did practice, he wouldn't play. Zach Taylor doesn't play his starters in the preseason. It's been a thing since last year.
Yeah, but hold on. What I'm getting at is if he practiced all training camp, it might have been a different outcome either way. He didn't practice until a week ago, right? So he's been off the field trying to get chemistry with that team, and the rust clearly was there. Sorry.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and I agree with that point too. But the way I look at it is like, you know, there's one thing about being in shape and being in football shape and then absorbing the hits and actually making contact, right? Because you're not going to experience that in practice. And I'm not going to tell you guys obviously know how important preseason is. But that being said, like, I'm not trying to make an excuse for the Giants, but the Giants were stuck in the preseason. The Bengals were stuck in the preseason. The Steelers just went up against a good team, and obviously we went up against a good team too. And the Browns defense is legit. So I just gave you guys 3 scenarios, and I guarantee you, like you said it perfectly, they'll come out next week and this week Sunday, right the shit wrong, and Joe Burrow is gonna have like 4 touchdowns, and everything will be good. It's gonna be Gucci, and I guarantee you, like
We'll see about that.
We can clip this. We can clip this.
I will say,
who did they play? The Raiders.
Well, we already said they're playing the Ravens, so this is a team that also did not look good even in victory on Sunday. The Ravens did not look good even in victories. Lamar Jackson was a mess. He played a very terrible game overall. I mean, he wasn't hitting any of his receivers really. Other than, I mean, Zay Flowers had a pretty decent debut performance for his rookie. But at the end of the day, the Ravens did not look good in defeat. The only reason they won the way they did was because they were going against the lowly Houston Texans. I mean, you chalk that up. I mean, almost most other teams probably would have beat the Ravens' ass the way they played on Sunday against Houston. So this will be interesting for both of these teams. See if both of these teams can wake up playing in a very stout division with the Cleveland Browns and the Pittsburgh Steelers as well. So we'll see, man. It was definitely a tough day off for both of these teams. So they're both looking to rebound a little bit. Even though, like I said, the Ravens did win their football game, but I don't know. Maybe even with the Ravens, it could have been a little bit of them looking past Houston and just went out there. But at the end of the day, I don't know. It was week one. A lot of sloppy play all around the league. Anyway, so we'll see. I think these are 2 really good football teams, and they're both going to turn things around and right the ships a little bit, so to speak. So I do agree with that. Cincinnati is a very good football team, and they have proven in the past that they can weather the storm of a rocky start. So let's move on, man. Let's go to Thursday Night Football, fellas, man. Let's move it along, man. How y'all feel about that game last night? The Minnesota Vikings visiting the Philadelphia Eagles. Thursday Night Football, man.
Yeah, what I did see, like, you know, it just I was gonna pull up a text that I text someone last night, but anyhow, it was like it's sad because you can have like 6 touchdowns, 1 interceptions, over 700 yards, right? and you 0-2. No one cares about those individual stats in the team game. And Kirk Cousins, he can't do so. He can only do so much. You know what I'm saying? You can have the number one receiver in the league, but it all comes down to a team. It all comes down to the other 11 on the other side of the field, the defense. You know what I'm saying? And for them to go toe and toe with the Eagles and to be in the game, obviously they made a lot of costly mistakes, but you know, I looked at the Vikings teams the past five years, and I'm looking at them. I'm like, God damn! Like, Kirk Cousins is actually, when they had Diggs, when they had Thielen, when they had Hawkinson, when they had Rudolph, when they had all these playmakers, they always had playmakers around him, right? And it's always been the defense that lets him down every single year. They go 4-2, and they're not even 4 into the playoffs because they only went there 1 year. But anytime they go into the playoffs, the defense lets them down. And you look at this year, it's all over again. Like, what I'm saying, the defense is letting them down because Kirk Cousins and that offense, can put up points, but I just feel like that's my takes on the game. Shout out to Eagles fans for winning the game. You know what I'm saying? I guess, but I just feel sorry for Kirk Cousins. And because it's not 1 year, guys. It's like 6 years in a row that the defense is letting them down. I would love to hear your guys' thoughts on that. And if I'm being mean, saying it's only the defense's fault, then let me know. Because obviously it's a team game, guys.
You're being a little mean. It's not only the defense's fault. It's also the fact that they keep giving the ball to their opponents offensively. The turnovers have been they've been through the roof through 2 weeks for the Minnesota Vikings. I mean, you're talking about
Justin Jefferson scores that
one.
touchdown.
Yeah, let me see. You're talking about
That's a
1,
touchdown,
2,
not a
3,
touchdown.
7 turnovers.
That's true. That's
Seven
true.
turnovers in the first 2 weeks of the season. That's not acceptable, man. That's not acceptable. That offense continues to get the ball back to their opponents, man, and that's not going to win you football games ever. So
Well,
I
that's the
can't
difference
put it
between
all on their defense, which we know is bad. We know their defense is bad, but at the end of the day, you still can't turn the ball over like that at that kind of frequency and think you're going to be winning football games. Kirk Cousins still came
That
out
is true.
and threw 4 touchdown passes, got 28 points on the board. Justin Jefferson, who obviously everybody they play against his game plan from Justin Jefferson has had back-to-back phenomenal weeks. He is the absolute best receiver in the league right now, currently, I believe. I mean, you can't. They're throwing. They're looking for him, and you still can't stop it. That's how good Justin Jefferson is. So I think they just got to They got to clean those turnovers up and stiffen up on They do got to stiffen up on defense, but they got to quit those turnovers. Those turnovers are going to kill them all if they continue that all down that road all season. What you going to say, Adam?
I think Kirk Cousins played a good game. It wasn't his fault they lost. If Justin Jefferson scores that touchdown instead of fumbles the touchback, I mean, we're probably talking 35-35, right? Game, maybe an overtime game. That's the difference between winning and losing. That margin for error, right? And the Minnesota Vikings, we said, can't sustain playing 11 games. They won 11 games last year, 8 in a row, where they were one-score games. Right, that is unheard of in the NFL. Was the first team to do it in NFL history last year. This year. That's not going to happen. And like you said, turnovers. What people don't realize is turnovers are the greatest equalizer in football. Okay, they can take your team. Like we were talking about Josh Allen. Josh Allen keeps the Jets in the game because he's giving them the ball back. Right. He's the reason someone said, "Oh, well, we excuse Josh Allen's turnovers." We don't excuse Josh Allen's turnovers. The thing is that he overcomes them most of the time, because he'll throw 2 picks, but then he'll throw 4 touchdowns. So if you're still giving me 4-2 odds, I'll take that, right? It's not like some people who throw 2 touchdowns and then don't throw anything else and kind of struggle through the game. That's the difference between him and other quarterbacks. What the Vikings are missing out on is, one, they missed out on the first game. I think they took Tampa Bay lightly, and they lost in their building. Had they won that game, it wouldn't have mattered if they lost this game. I thought their offense came to light a little bit. I thought that game was over after, I forget what happened to them, but they went down like 27 to like 14. And I'm like, there's this an insurmountable lead in the bottom of the third quarter, where the Eagles had the lead and their defense was was humming, turnover after turnover after turnover, and then they stormed back, which is what they did again, which is what their MO is, right? They had a furious comeback against the Bills last year. They had a couple of comebacks last year to win games. So this time the magic didn't work out. It fell short because when you let a team like the Eagles, who, yes, let's be honest, let's flip it over to them. They were struggling out the gate. They're getting used to the terminology of this new offensive coordinator in their ear hole. It's the same. It's the same offense, but when you don't play preseason, you don't get the cadence down with the guy in a game. You don't see how he calls the game. You don't see what he does. Eagle fans were mad that he didn't go downfield. Well, guess what? They went downfield twice this game. Two big plays hit with Devontae Smith touchdown and also a 53-yard bomb. So I think they're going to open it up more going forward as they saw. I think the Eagles are the best team at in-game adjustments, not just like halftime adjustments, in-game adjustments. They'll just adjust on the fly. One from drive to drive, it seems like. 1 minute they're throwing the ball all over the yard, and that wasn't working. They're like, all right, we'll give it to DeAndre Swift. And next thing you know, that's what they're doing. They're leading heavily on the run, who, by the way, DeAndre Swift had like 175 yards rushing. So, and by the way, steal of the effing draft. Steal the fucking draft. They got that guy for a 7th-round pick, and he's going to take
fourth round pick. It was like a
this
fourth round pick.
I thought I saw somewhere
Yeah.
a 7th-round pick. Either way, still stealing. Straight stealing.
I mean, yeah, DeAndre Swift definitely had a phenomenal game. 28 carries. That's not really normal for the Eagles' production. Usually, the Eagles spread that, share the ball a little bit more in the backfield. But 28 carries, 175 yards, 6.3 a clip. The running game was definitely going. What's going on at halftime? Was definitely rocking and rolling last night. But like I said, I always wanted to bring this up a little bit. I live around, a lot of Eagle fans, talk to a lot of Eagle fans constantly every day. Just can't help it because that's who lives around here. But they seem to not be. I've never seen a fan base be so disappointed over being 2-0 about the way their team is 2-0. I mean, to me, 2-0 is 2-0. I just don't get it. Like Whale said up here, man, Eagle fans pissed off just because they weren't winning 35-0. Look, at the end of the day, they're still winning football games. They're still doing what they got to do to get the job done. And maybe it might not look as fluid as it did a year ago, but that'll come back probably because this team is just that damn good. I think you just got to be a little more patient. You didn't, like I said, we were talking about it before. No, you didn't play in the preseason whatsoever. So these things you got to get your sea legs back, man. And you saw a few flashes of it last night, like you said, the two big long bombs to Devontae Smith. So I think you just got to be a little more patient. At the end of the day, just be happy that you're 2-0, because you could be 0-2.
Just be
Both
happy.
games were close, and both games were down to the wire. You could have easily lost both of these football games, but you found a way to win, and that's what good teams do. So I just don't. I'm just how you guys feel about that.
I think the Eagle fans want greatness. I can't be mad that they want to have perfection. I mean, you went to the Super Bowl. The margin for error is there. They have these big expectations. As we did, right? We were Giant fans. We didn't expect what happened to them to happen to them. We expected all the preseason. The Giants played one drive. I had people telling me they're going to the Super Bowl, right? So they come out and lay a goose egg. The Eagles, on the other hand, don't. But they expect that team to be crisp. They expect that teams like New England, right? Mac, you said it best last week. You expected the Eagles to railroad the New England Patriots almost in a blowout. If it's close, then the Eagles are in trouble, right? So Bill Belichick came out and said, hey, listen, I'm still Bill Belichick for a reason, and showed why the NFL is the NFL. It's a parity-driven league. Anybody can beat anybody on any Sunday. It's just a matter of what games you play. But what the scary part is, and what people really should be looking at, is they didn't play their A games in either of these games, and they won. That's the part that we need to talk about. Once they start to play their A game, I am sure the Eagle fans will be happy with where they're at. Right now, they're still learning on defense. Right, they have a new defensive coordinator, so they're still learning what his terminology is. Oh, and by the way, Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter, absolute beasts. Okay, Zach Cunningham, who I called, by the way, and said was going to be good for that defense, all over the effing field. And this guy Josh Sweat, coming out and producing. Fletcher Cox still producing. So once they and they lost, and they were down 5 guys. They lost a couple guys in the secondary. They lost a couple linebackers. They didn't have all their defensive line players, and somehow they still perform. That's when you know you have a good team. When you come out and play your C game against other people's A games and you still win, that's when you know you're good.
Yeah, you said that perfectly. Eagles fans are just tripping because they want they want to be prestigious, right? You know what I'm saying? You just went to the Super Bowl. You want to come out. You look at the Patriots, you look at the roster. You who do they have? You should be smashing them. You know what I'm saying? You look at the Vikings, they can't even beat Tampa. We should be smashing them. At the end of the days, you guys, just from the outside looking in, I still compare you guys right next to San Francisco and Dallas Cowboys. You know what I'm saying? Not in any particular order. And Adam said it perfectly. You guys are not playing your good. You guys are not playing good football up to your guys' standards right now. To what you guys ceiling is, right? But hey, you guys are knocking these guys out. You know what I'm saying? It's you guys want to knock these guys out, but you guys are taking them to the distance. It's fine to take them to the distance every now and then. UFC reference. You know what I'm saying? Teams like the Patriots is still coached by Bill Belichick. You know what I'm saying? They still have a respected defense, no matter which year it is. They're still going to be respected. And teams like Minnesota, I mean, look at the rippings on offense. How do you stop that? And you guys did. So long story short, I mean, Max said it perfectly. A win's a win, 2-0. Why are you guys concerned? It's not like you guys went out there and playing the Giants and the Cardinals. Jesus, you guys are good. Don't even worry about it.
Absolutely, man. Like I said, just take your 2-0 and be happy with it. Like you said, I think Adam said it best. You're 2-0 and haven't played your best football, and you're still 2-0. So that's something to be said about that. That you can go out there and make the mistakes you've been making these first couple of weeks and still escape with victories. And it doesn't matter who you're going against, you're still getting the job done at the end of the day. So just be satisfied, man. Look, I just don't want to hear it. No, I'm be complaining about being 2-0. God damn it, because you could, like I said, you could be 0-2. So you shouldn't be complaining
You
about
lose
2-0
by
ever.
40 on Sunday Night Football.
Just one of those things that's been noticed and trending the last couple of weeks. People acting like the Eagles got something to worry about. I don't see what they have to worry about. This team is definitely legit as advertised. They just need to, right now these first few games are like their preseason because now they're actually getting to play. So now, once they get warmed up, man, this team's gonna be rolling like Adam said, man. But let's move on to week 2, fellas, and start looking a little deeper into week 2, man. Some of these games coming up on Sunday, man.
So how did
Got
we do
the
last week?
Bengals, Ravens. Got the Chiefs, Jaguars. Let's see what other going. Got the Packers, Falcons might be a fun one.
Let's go over our rankings real fast. And then Mac, you can call the games out. I know you was about to get into it, but I do want you to let the fans know that Adam is the winner last week, so he has a record of 11-5. So let's give Adam.
I'm taking a bow.
Good job on that. Mac, your record last week was 10-6. So if you want to throw that up on the screen, you go ahead and do that. And then my record was 9-7. So I am in last place, and hopefully I can right the ship wrong. And I'm gonna give it back over to Mac while he runs down these games.
And Jeffrey T is 16-0. So
no, I was just going over some of the more marquee matches on the week, man. Some of the what else was we talking? What else was? I said Packers Falcons might be a fun one. Let's see. Got the battle of the rookie quarterbacks, Colts and Texans. Battle of the rookies, Richardson, C.J. Stroud. Could be interesting. Let's see what else we got. Well, the Jets Cowboys lost its luster a little bit, obviously. And then we got a big Dolphins Patriots matchup. Those are always fun games. Dolphins and Patriots when they hook up, man. Those are always fun games, man. So Brown Steelers, the AFC North going toe to toe this week. You guys, you dive into any of those matchups, man? A little more in depth if y'all like.
I'm down to cover any matchup you guys wanna, and then I'll give my take on it. Any matchup that you guys wanna dig deep on, I'm open to talk about it.
I think the game.
A win is Bills. Let's get it.
I think the game that we should look at that might be the most interesting is the Cleveland Browns Why? Because this is a chance for that team to go 2-0. They haven't done that in a lot of their history. Their defense has been playing phenomenal. Let's see if they can put up another goose egg or almost a goose egg against Kenny Pickett because Kenny Pickett had a decent game against the 49ers. The scoreboard doesn't indicate that. He threw 2 interceptions, and that's gonna be the main takeaways from that game. But this defense is scary good, and because they're the Cleveland Browns, we don't give them any serious thought. They have arguably the guy who could also there's a ton of guys in this season who could be fighting for Defensive Player of the Year. Miles Garrett is one of them. We mentioned T.J. Watt. There was Micah Parsons in Dallas. People forget about Miles Garrett and how good he can be, right? And he's a game changer. So for me, I'm interested in seeing because now the Browns again are on national TV, right? Monday Night Football. The eyes are watching. The crowd is watching you. Will they rise to the occasion? They got Deshaun Watson, who was trying to come back from missing 10 games last week. And Mac, you talk about Joe Burrow. Quick thing, right? Deshaun Watson hasn't looked that great, right, since coming back. Last year he was terrible because he didn't play at all. He had no practice time, and then they thrust him in there and say, "Here you go, start for us." This year, I think it rained a lot in their game. I want to see him open it up more. I want to see Deshaun Watson come back and prove that he is the guy that we think he is, or that we hope he is. I hope that he's not mentally shot from what went on in his case. And I don't know what goes on behind the scenes. You never know how some of these things affect people, right? And let's see if they can bounce back offensively. But I think that's a game we should keep an eye on.
Sounds like a good one. That should be a fun one, definitely. Down there in Cleveland, man. You guys, Zion, you want to talk break one down?
Yeah, I'll break down the. I know it's not as high as it was before, but I still think with these elite defenses, like I really do believe that, like I don't know. I think it's me just being a Giants fan, but I want to see how the Jets and the Dallas Cowboys D goes against each other. We all have it being a low scoring game, but what if it's a shootout? And it probably won't be a shootout. But that's just that's like out of all the games besides the Steelers matchups, we got a fun matchup against the Kansas City Chiefs and the Jacksonville Jaguars. That's probably gonna be very fun to watch. We got the Ravens in Cincinnati. We got obviously the battle for California, but that being said, I mean, like something against us getting destroyed by the Dallas Cowboys and the defense of the Jets keeping them in the game. I want to see how the Dallas Cowboys and the Jets match up because at the end of the day, like the Jets still have Brees Hall, they still have Delvin Cook, they still have a great head coach, and obviously Zach ain't anything special, but he can manage it. You know what I'm saying? I think that little time he had with Aaron Rodgers had a had kind of helped him out a bit. Obviously, it sucks. We all wish it was Aaron Rodgers, but you know, Dak on the other hand, didn't really have to play that much against us because they had the league, so they could just run the ball, and then the defense was basically out by halftime. So I want to see how legit this Dallas defense is and how legit this Jets defense is. So if you're a fan of defense, the Jets versus the Dallas Cowboys, and it's sad it's not without Aaron Rodgers, but I repeated that a million times. And obviously the Sunday night matchup, I am going to be calling on my channel at Logan on his channel as well. That's going to be the Miami versus the New England Patriots. So that's going to be fun. If you guys want to come and check that out, you guys can all tune in for that. What's up, Alex? Let's get it. Go ahead, Matt.
What's going on, Alex? Thanks for stopping in, bro.
Yeah,
What's up,
Ralphie out in the
Raphael?
house. No, let's get it.
Alex says his favorite game this week is Seattle Detroit.
Detroit.
Seattle likely out with both of their tackles. That's going to be a tough one, man, because that Detroit defense, Aiden Hutchinson, is a sneaky good defense, and Aiden Hutchinson had a big day against Kansas City with that pass rush. It was ferocious, so that's not going to be a good look for Seattle, man, or Geno Smith. That's why I took his ass out of my fantasy lineup, actually.
I do want to point out real fast, Mac. I'm sorry, Chris Jones will be in the game too, right? Because he's paid right. So on the Chiefs, he finally got his contract. Yeah, you go right ahead.
I don't know. Look for him to have that big of an impact, man. Coming back in right now, just just like Nick Bosa a week ago was.
Oh yeah.
Pretty quiet for the most
It's gonna
part.
take
Just
time.
got to get your legs back underneath W first. But Yeah, Dolphins Patriots Sunday Night Football, man. There's something about this matchup, man. Dolphins and Patriots. It's always like the weird, crazy endings. Just the games are always just something just good about these games, man. Bill Belichick seems to just get this Patriot team ready for the Dolphins, and vice versa. The Dolphins are always ready for the Patriots, man. This is now it's going to be up in New England, and Sunday Night Football. Hopefully, we'll get a much better game than we got last Sunday night on the prime time in this slot. And I look for a fun one here, man. The Dolphins coming with that offense, explosive, high power. Tyreek Hill, that is his 2,000-yard declaration. He's off to a great start, 200 plus yards last week in the air. Tua, like you said, if he keeps this up, could possibly be putting his name on the MVP ballot, man, as well. So, and the New England Patriots, a well-coached football team, as we saw a week ago, can get ready for anybody, always prepared, ready to go. So it's going. Bill Belichick's going to have this team ready, man. It should be a fun one Sunday night. This Miami Dolphin, New England Patriots game might get something, get a crazy ending like we did a few years ago with Kenyon Drake scoring that crazy touchdown late at the end of the game on all the laterals and whatnot. It's just always weird finishes and crazy finishes with the Dolphins and Patriots hook up, man. It's always an exciting matchup.
Hey, I believe ain't the Dolphins a tour or something like that 4-0 against Belichick.
It
Like
might be.
Belichick is beat tour or something like that. So yeah, absolutely, it's gonna be a fun matchup. And I think the Patriots, not to get off subject. I mean, like they got a tough matchup. Look at this. Look at the schedule. After the Dolphins, they play the Jets and then the Cowboys, and then the Saints. So I mean, like it doesn't get any easier. And then they got the Patriots have a really hard schedule. But I want to see. I do believe that the team is way better than what the record is. I know it's only week one, but
Which offense is more likely to wake up this week? The Baltimore Ravens offense or the Cincinnati Bengals offense as they match up head to head this week as well?
can I say the New York Giants offense will wake up this week?
I'm talking about this specific matchup.
Oh, the
This is a
matchup.
game
Yeah.
they're
Oh,
playing
yeah.
head to head. They're playing each other.
I think the Bengals offense
Bengals.
will wake up. I mean, you know, the Ravens. Zay Flowers had a good game. We'll see. I think. I just think that Burrow's gonna come out and have a solid game home opener. Sometimes that can get you a little bit more juiced up. I just think you'll see Jamar Chase go deep, and they've had the Ravens number for a while. They kind of match up well against the Ravens. I remember the playoff game and everything like that. So it's gonna be a fun to watch game. But I think the offense comes alive.
Yeah, I mean, like I said it earlier in the show, I got confused. I didn't know they was playing the Ravens, but I'm just gonna double down on it. Like Joe Burrow had for touchdowns. I'm gonna double down for touchdowns. You're gonna see out of the Joe Burrow.
Well, as much as I would like to see the Baltimore Ravens offense be the one to wake up because I got Lamar Jackson on two of my fantasy teams and he pissed me off last week mightily. But yeah, I agree with you guys. Cincinnati, man, in their home opener, I think that it was so disappointing last week that I just feel like this team is so good that they're not gonna they just can't accept that and rest on those laurels, man. They're gonna come out firing this week, and I think you're gonna see Jamar Chase, T Higgins. You're gonna see these guys all just killing it. I think terrorizing the Baltimore Ravens secondary up, and I think the Cincinnati's offense definitely wakes up. I mean, it could be both. Both. I mean, it could be this game could actually turn into an absolute shootout too for what it's worth. But and I wouldn't mind seeing that between these two teams, man. But I think Cincinnati has the better opportunity right now to just wake their offense to wake up because that last week performance that's not the Cincinnati Bengals we all know or expected to see. So I think they come back to life this week. Let's talk about rookies here. C.J. Stroud and A.R. and Anthony Richardson, man. Houston against the Colts, man. What do you expect to see in this one? Do you expect another little rough ride for C.J. Stroud and expect Anthony Richardson to take more steps in what he did a week ago?
Yeah, I'm gonna have this as a close game, like a 14-13 or 14-17 type of game. I see both defenses showing up there here, and I see both quarterbacks holding it down but still struggling a bit. I have Anthony Richardson probably getting another touchdown on his feet, and that'll probably be the. But honestly, man, I probably have the Texans winning this one. And that's probably just with the running game. Obviously, they didn't. I get it. They didn't really use that effectively last week. But I just have it being a close game, and I think both defenses are better than what people think they were.
What you think, Adam?
I think it should be a fun game against two young quarterbacks that are going to showcase what they got. C.J. Stroud did go over 242 yards passing, as did Anthony Richardson. I think Anthony Richardson's team, they should take a little bit of confidence out of the fact that they held their own with the Jacksonville Jaguars. So you would hope that they could hold their own against the Houston Texans, who, by the way, have a decent defense. Their number one overall pick, Will Anderson Jr., had a sack in the game. He looks like he could be a stud. So it's one of those games where it's hard to predict division games because even
Mm-hmm.
when you're bad, you can still beat a good team.
Yeah, good stuff there. And Mr. Trevor Lawrence has a big one, man. At home in Jacksonville, man. I believe they played on the road last week in Indianapolis, I believe, right? Yeah, so this one's their home opener, I think, in Jacksonville, man. Got the Chiefs coming to town. What do you expect to see from Trevor Lawrence in this one? And do you think this is the game he kind of needs to really put himself, to really, 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 truly put himself fully on that map with the elite?
I'm gonna say Jacksonville outright wins this game. I know that's probably a shocker because I think a lot of people think that the Kansas City is gonna come and bounce back, but no, I think Jacksonville holds it down at home, and I don't think this game puts him on. I think people respect him after this game, but people is gonna talk crap about the receivers on the Chiefs after this game. Like obviously, I don't know the health situation on Travis. I believe Travis might be playing this week, but and I think Tony catches my balls this week. Pause. The receivers step up this week, but I believe with this offense, I just think Goldilocks, the prince that was promised, and Ridley is flowing, and ETN, and I just feel like they're gonna be strolling here, and I don't have it an easy victory against Chiefs. I have it a tough win against the Chiefs, but I have Goldilocks, the promised prince, the prince that was promised, getting it done.
I think it's going to be a good game. I think the Kansas City Chiefs are going to have to they're going to have to show up in this game, and I think their backs are against the wall because this is the AFC we're talking about here. Now,
Yep.
Jacksonville wants revenge for obviously the playoff loss
Mm-hmm.
last year, right? They kept the game. I wouldn't say close, but they were in the game, right? They weren't blown out the way we thought they were going to be blown out. Trevor Lawrence kept them close in the game. I think this time in Duval County, they're going to be they're going to be fighting, and it's going to be loud. But the only reason I can't see them winning is one, Andy Reid doesn't lose too many back-to-back games. I don't think the Kansas City Chiefs are going to go 0-2, especially now that they have Kelsey back. They were in that game last week. Their defense only gave up 21 points to a very good offense in the Lions. I think they keep the Jacksonville Jaguars closer to 20, 21, 22, 23, 24 points, something like that. I think they outscore them 28-24. So I think Kansas City goes back to this game.
I wanna keep in mind for the chat. I do have the Chiefs going into week 11 7-2 against that Eagles matchup. They have a bye on week 10. So I believe they lose this game, but they win out until week 10. And Adam is right. Andy Reid does not. He's one of the best coaches in the league. He does not win 2 games in a row. Lose. I'm sorry. He does not lose 2 games in a row, and I'm glad you brought that up. In respect for Andy Reid, absolutely.
Yeah, man. It's kind of weird. I just realized that the Las Vegas Raiders are leading the AFC West right now after 1 week. 1-0. They're only team that got a victory last week in the AFC West. The Los Vegas Raiders.
I called it
Yeah,
just
I
like
think that.
Just starting off there. Just saying.
How long do you think that the Las Vegas Raiders stay at the top of that division?
I wouldn't bet my life on it that they
Bye.
stay at the top very long.
But let's get to the pick'ems, man, guys. We're gonna scroll down. We're
Let's
gonna just
get
do
it.
some pick'ems, man. Let's take it from the top, man. The Raiders versus the Bills. Raiders going on the road against the Buffalo Bills, man. You think the Bills rebound this week against
I'm
Absolutely.
the division leading Las Vegas Raiders?
Yes, I'm picking the Bills to win that
He
game.
said
I
it.
think.
Originally in Las Vegas Raiders.
Hey, listen, let them bask in that shit for a week,
Hey,
right? Listen, we're in the NFC. We're the fourth place
Dude,
team right now, so
we're
we
the
can't.
32nd team in the NFL.
So to pick them, I think Buffalo's going to bounce back. They need to bounce back. Josh Allen needs to have a major game here after the poor performance against the Jets, which damn near, which cost them the football game. Let's be real, it cost them
Yes, sir.
a chance to win. You can't have 5 turnovers and expect to be a good team or have any semblance of a playoff team. So I'm going with the Bills.
Yeah, I'm gonna go
we
with
got
the
the Bills
Bills
strategy.
too. I gotta go with the Bills too. I think the Raiders Nation will stop defending that ticket prices. They'll probably like, see, that's why we have the highest ticket prices in the NFL. But no, that ends this week. Buffalo is winning this game, and I gotta tell you, if for any miracle, the Raiders come out and win this game, I can guarantee you the NFL world will be like, all the announcers and all the NFL talk shows will be like, do we press the panic button on Buffalo? And that'll be the talk of the town. So I don't think that's happening. I have Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, I got the Bills too. I think Josh Allen rebounds in the big ways. Could be like one of those 4 touchdown kind of performances for him. Big game coming back just to shut up everybody from the terrible game he had a week ago. I mean on Monday night. So I think and the Raiders, let's face it, they're not going to be sitting at the top too long, but they can enjoy it. They can enjoy it for the week that they were first in the division. So I don't think they're not good enough to sustain that. I don't believe. So Buffalo comes back and wins this one. All right, Baltimore, Cincinnati.
I got Cincinnati.
This is a tough one for me, but I think I'm going to go with Cincinnati here as well.
Just to
Max,
be different, I'm going to go with the Ravens.
I knew it. Max gonna
I go. I
Max.
like Bal. I'm gonna. Yeah, I like Baltimore here. Hopefully, Lamar Jackson can rebound and give me a couple of wins this week, as opposed to the L's I took last week. A lot to do with him. But yeah, I'm gonna
Can
go.
I just point out the
I'm
biggest
gonna go
owl I
with
talk?
Baltimore here.
Baltimore. Can I just point out? I'm sorry to
What's
interrupt,
that?
Mac. Yeah. So I was a 95% chance to win. Aaron Rodgers and Garrett Wilson versus the Jets defense, and I lost.
Sorry about that, sir.
I wish I
But
could feel
Well,
sorry for you.
all right.
I don't care. I don't care about my fantasy. Like, obviously he's hurt, but it just goes to show you that like anything is possible. I wasn't trying to have like obviously Aaron Rodgers is hurt. I care about his injury more than my damn winning in my fantasy. There's no money involved, but it can go to show you that anything is possible in fantasy. Aaron Rodgers and Garrett Wilson versus the Jets defense, only down by 1 point, and the Jets defense wins it. But we'll see what happens. Let's get it on to the next games.
All right. So Zion, you had Cincinnati. Adam had Cincinnati, and I took Baltimore.
And you took Baltimore,
All
absolutely.
right, Chiefs. Yeah, Chiefs Jaguars. Kansas City going to Jacksonville.
I'm gonna take Jacksonville.
I'm going to take Kansas City. I don't think they have a bad two back-to-back bad games. They were close in that game last week. I think they punched their ticket this week.
I also like Kansas City. I think their defense at times can be opportunistic, and Trevor Lawrence at times can be a little turnover prone. I think they take advantage of that and win this football game, even with a few hiccups on offense with their weapons that they got. Patrick Mahomes It's hard for him to polish a turd. Even Patrick Mahomes is hard to polish a turd, but he's Patrick Mahomes, and he'll find a way. And I think their defense will have a bigger part in this one. Let's see. The Los Angeles Chargers going to Nashville, taking on the Tennessee Titans. Man, who you got?
I'm gonna go with the Chargers.
Yeah, I'm going with the Chargers as well. That Tennessee Titans offense is putrid. They can't do anything, and I think the Chargers, who dropped 31 points last week, are gonna just they're gonna go off, and it's gonna be too much for that Tennessee Titans offense to overcome.
Absolutely agree. I'm not going to be different here, guys. I'm definitely with you. Chargers all the way here. I think just Tennessee ain't got enough firepower to keep up with this Los Angeles Chargers team. All right, Jordan Love and the Packers heading down to the Atlanta, man, taking on them Falcons in the dome. What you got?
I'm gonna go with Atlanta.
I'm gonna go with Green Bay.
I'm gonna go with Green Bay too. It's more impressed with what I saw. I think they're just more well-rounded team than the Atlanta Falcons. Desmond Ritter, he's got a lot to prove. He's got to prove to me. I think in this one they're going to be a lot more reliant on him, and I think he's going to let them down. To be honest, so I'm going with Green Bay here.
I just feel that Atlanta
On the
has a better
road in the
defense
dome.
right now than the Chicago Bears, and I just believe they get Pitts, they get Drake London more involved, and then they run the ball out. They get up early, and then they force Jordan Love to throw the ball. Obviously he's pretty good at that, as we've seen, but they try to take Aaron Jones out of the game,
All right,
The
Seattle
Packers defense,
Seahawks traveling.
even though he can catch balls out of the backfield.
Go ahead, Adam.
the Packers defense is not too
What was
bad.
you going to say?
Oh, not a
I
bad
think
at
they'll
all.
hold their own.
Yes.
Seattle Seahawks traveling to Motown, taking on the Detroit Lions at Ford's Field. Who you got?
I'm gonna go with the Lions.
Yeah, I have to follow that.
Yeah, I'm taking Detroit here too. Seattle was a little disappointing a week ago in their home opener against the Rams, and like Alex said in the comments earlier, without both of their tackles in the lineup, that's going to be a long day at the office for Geno Smith. As we saw, that Detroit defense can totally get after the quarterback, led by pass rush led by Aiden Hutchinson, and I can see Geno Smith going down a few times in this one. So I like the Detroit Lions also. And then we got the Colts visiting Houston to take on the Texans. Battle of the rookies.
Hmm.
I'm gonna go at Houston.
I'll go Indianapolis.
Interesting.
I'll go Indianapolis.
I'm definitely going to Indianapolis too, man. I think Richardson's start. I mean, it's only 1 week, but he's making a claim that he's going to be in his rookie of the year conversation, man. I think this kid is absolutely legit. He's for real, and I think right now he's just in a better place than C.J. Stroud is with the
You're
Houston Texans
welcome.
right now currently. I think the Colts get the job done. All right. One more on the 1 o'clock slate in the early window, and that will be the Chicago Bears headed down to Tampa Bay taking on the Buccaneers.
Tampa Bay.
Yeah, I'm gonna go at Tampa too, and I'm not saying that Baker's gonna have like a Geno Smith type of comeback, but damn, Baker, he's looking pretty good in Week 1, so I'm gonna ride with you, Tampa Bay.
I'm gonna go Chicago here,
Chicago like that.
just because I really think Tampa Bay is not that good, and
Fair enough.
I don't think Chicago is that great either. But at the end of the day, I just think this is a game between two pretty bad football teams. I think Tampa Bay was really, fortunate last week to play Minnesota, who was just turning the ball over like absolute, like it was like that's what they were supposed to be doing. And
No credit.
I don't
Credit's
think they were
due.
really. I just don't. I don't believe in them that much, and I think this could be one of those games where Justin Fields goes out and has like 100 yards rushing. Just I'm
I
not
mean,
saying that because he's my other he's another quarterback on my one of my other fantasy teams. I'm not saying that just because of that. I'm saying it because
you're
it may
saying
really happen. And but look, no, I just think Chicago. I think Chicago might actually just. I don't know. I just got this weird feeling that Chicago might pull this off for no
well,
real
you
reason,
can have
honestly.
your weird feeling when Tampa Bay is going 2-0 and you have indigestion for picking Justin Fields and the Chicago Bears. That weird feeling you
So,
got indigestion.
all right, guys, let's get to the late window, man. On Sunday, man. Giants headed out to the desert, taking on the Cardinals. Which who you got?
Normally, if it wasn't my team, I'd pick the Cardinals, but because we had such a terrible performance, and I think the Giants are going to bounce back. I don't know if they're going to blow this team out. The Cardinals defense is a little better than we expect. They sacked Sam Howell uh, 6 times, and I think they're going to give the Giants new offensive line with McKeithen as the right guard some fits. So I think the Giants will still win, but it'll be a little closer than we think.
I got the G-Man.
Yeah, I got the
By a
Giants
lot.
bouncing back, but I'm with Adam. I picked this at like a 20-13 type of game because until this offense actually shows me, and until this offensive line shows me they can actually block somebody, I can't
That's
put
true.
much more faith in them than that. So
I think they will use
let's move
Barkley.
on. Let's move on. 49ers, San Francisco 49ers traveling to their division foe, the Los Angeles Rams. It's so far. Who do you got in this one?
Well, it's interesting that you brought this up because Matthew Stafford, I want to just mention real quick. Last week, threw for over 300 yards with receivers that no one can name last week. Okay. Nobody could name Tutu Atwell or Puka Nuka as starting receivers. If you did, you're lying to yourself because I didn't know them. You didn't know them. Nobody knew them.
I drafted Puka in fantasy.
Okay.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir. Well, on DraftKings because he was a deep sleeper. But continue. I didn't know who he was before last week.
Exactly. That's my point. You pick
Yes.
a deep sleeper. You pick a deep sleeper on DraftKings that you have no idea about, and all of a sudden this guy goes off. What am I getting at, Adam? I'm getting at this. Don't tell me that you need fucking all-star players to do well. Okay, Matthew
That's
Stafford elevated his team, and that's why they won the game last week. However, I'm not picking them this week. That 49 defense is too ferocious. I think they're going to do just enough to win. I do believe the Rams are better than we think, but I do believe they lose an L. Now, Giant fans, it doesn't matter if 49ers lose or if the 49ers win. Get ready to get an ass whooping of a lifetime.
I will say this though. I should have stuck with my heart because I was gonna pick the Rams last week. I would have picked them if Cooper Cup was playing. I just had a feeling that the Rams was gonna come out there and I did say that on stream.
Oh,
And then
please.
no, we can rewind it. I said if Cooper Cup was playing, I was gonna pick the Rams, and I didn't pick them because Cooper Cup wasn't playing, and I should have stuck with the Rams. But this week, here's the thing: Seattle doesn't have a pass rush like San Francisco does. And Steve Aliva out of TCU, though I do think he's going to be an amazing grab for them in the future. No, not with this defense. So I have the San Francisco 49ers.
the
Maximum.
49ers, just because they're way better. So there's no other reason. I mean, yeah, the Rams looked nice last week. That was good. Okay. This is the 49ers. They're going to win. All right.
Well, okay.
Jets Cowboys. Jets
Okay.
Cowboys in Dallas. Dallas' home opener.
I'm going to
Supposed
say
to be
Dallas
against Aaron
Cowboys.
Rodgers, but
I think I'm going to take the Dallas Cowboys. I think Zach Wilson will be under siege. I do think the Jet defense will keep the Jets in the game, but I have the Cowboys winning.
Yeah, I mean, like it wouldn't shock me if the Jets scored less than 10 points here. So I'm gonna pick Dallas too. I do think that it's gonna be a close game. I don't have Dallas. When I said it's gonna defensive game, guys, I'm thinking of like 9-6, 10-13. That's what I meant earlier, and I do think it's gonna be like that. I could be totally wrong. I'm not an expert, but I'm gonna ride with Dallas.
I think this game is going to be a defensive struggle. I don't know about quite the defensive struggle that you predicted. Zion, but I think it's going to
Mhm.
be a defensive struggle. I think both of these teams are going to want to try to establish the run because you're talking about just two absolutely ferocious pass rushes to try to help protect their quarterbacks. And I think it's going to come down to which quarterback can make more plays. And I think that's Dak Prescott. Dallas Cowboys win this one. Commanders, Dallas, the Washington Commanders headed out to the Mile High City, taking on the Denver Broncos.
Take me down to the Mile High
Who
City
got
with a
it?
red. Interesting game. Interesting game. I'm going to go with the upset. Denver beating Commanders. That's what I'm going to go with.
I mean, Denver's favorite here, so that wouldn't necessarily be the upset. Denver's 3.5 point favorites.
But it's an upset in my eyes.
Okay. Who you got, Zion?
Dang it, I was muted. Oh yeah, I was saying I'm gonna ride with Sean Payton and the Denver Broncos. I just think they're the better all-around team here, and they were the favorites, so I'm gonna ride with them.
I think Washington Commanders win this game. I think Sam Howell goes out, has a big day. And the Washington Commanders go 2-0. Start their season started off on a good foot. Washington
No,
Commanders.
way to curse us, Mac. We're starting the damn Commanders at 2-0, putting us in a hole.
Hey, brother. It is what it is. We put ourselves in that hole. Uh,
Do
Sunday
wanna
night football,
do wanna
man.
remind our friend Mac here that Patrick Sertan still plays on the Broncos. No, just let's
He
continue.
played on them last week too. He played for him
Yeah,
last week too.
let's get it next game.
Sunday night football. The Dolphins, Miami Dolphins, traveling to up to New England, man, taking on them Patriots, man.
I think it's going to be Miami. The Miami's had their number right now. I don't know if they're going to score the amount of points that they played last week. But I think Tua and the Miami Dolphins steal a victory in New England.
Yeah, I got to ride with Miami as well. I just think that offense is too high powered for the defensive. They don't have the speed on defense, I believe, to keep up with those players on offense. And I'm gonna have Miami by at least 2 touchdowns.
Yep, I'm picking New England. I like New England here for some reason. These games are always just between these two teams are always weird.
Yep, I'm picking New England.
They always seem to have weird finishes, weird crazy things happening in this matchup. So I know Miami's had their number as of late, but I think New England here. I mean, Bill Belichick showed me something a week ago how he had this team prepared, ready to go against the Eagles. I think he's going to do the same thing against his division rival Miami Dolphins, and I think they take one. I think they take one, and this will take get this in an upset victory over the Miami Dolphins, man. Let's go. We got a doubleheader on Monday night, fellas. Doubleheader on Monday night in week 2. I don't know why we have that, but I'll take it. And the first game of the night, New Orleans Saints traveling down to Charlotte, taking on the Carolina Panthers. Who
New
you
Orleans.
got?
New Orleans.
Yeah, I just think that New Orleans defense is just too good for the Carolina team, but I am gonna take Carolina team because I got a feeling that Bryce Young is gonna do something to win this game. So I'm gonna pick Carolina with my gut.
Yeah, I can't do that. I'm picking New England. I mean, New Orleans. I mean, I can't. Yeah, I can't pick Carolina. I can't seriously pick them. I'm sorry. I just can't do it.
Fair enough. Let's get it.
The second half of doubleheader on Monday night. The Cleveland Browns taking on the Pittsburgh Steelers, one of the most grisly rivalries in all of the NFL right here, man. So who you got? Cleveland against Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh.
Cleveland Browns are going 2-0. You heard it here first.
I do like that
2-0.
defense, but I think they have a bounce back week. I think Mike Tomlinson was embarrassed last week, and he is gonna cook up something real good. I have Cleveland struggling here. I do think Watson has a bigger season, but not here against this defense with Minka and Watt and all these other guys. It's gonna be tough. So I have the Steelers here. Give me the pick.
I agree with Zion here. I think the Steelers do come out big in this one, man. I think they go out there
Nine.
and get the job
He's
done
9 and
against the
7.
division rival
I'm
Cleveland
11
Browns.
and 6.
I think they go out and get the job done against the Cleveland Browns, man. And this is always another big fun marquee matchup. Every time these guys hook up, man, always good games. A lot of good games between these two teams. Big time rivalry. Geographically very close to each other. I'm sure my cousins will be at the game. Big Pittsburgh Steelers fans that they are. And but I like Pittsburgh here, man, in this game. So that's going to do it, fellas. I mean, Zion, who's USC playing this week?
Did we pick the Giant game?
Yeah, we did.
Oh, I forgot.
Zion, you are muted, bro.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I was muted. Yes. So sorry. Yes, C is actually off this week because we played week 0. We do come back and play 9-23 against Arizona State.
What the hell is week 0?
Week 0. Okay, let's just touch on that.
It's weird.
Week 0, basically, we chose to play week 0 because last year we got effed, and then we basically had to play the last week, and then had to go play Utah in the Pac-12, and then we was already in rankings where Utah beats us. So this year, Lincoln Riley's all like, we're not doing that. We're gonna play week 0. So we played week 0, so we get a bye week, and then Arizona State is up next, but no one cares about that. What I care about is 9:30. So stay tuned to Premium Takes. We will be highlighting that Colorado versus SC game if both teams stay undefeated, which I think they will. Go right ahead, man.
That still doesn't make any. You still haven't told me what fuck week 0 is.
Week 0 is basically the first week of college football. It's just
So why wouldn't that be week 1?
It's
There's only literally less than a handful of games, I guess.
Only a handful of teams. It's like
so they don't consider it a full week of football anyway.
So then why don't you call it week 0.5? I don't know. Like
I don't know. I don't make up the NCAA is weird, Adam.
The NCAA can kiss my ass. Okay, Notre Dame is going to go 4-0, and they're going to play in week fucking 5. Okay.
Well, we will play on 10-14, Adam. I will see Notre Dame. Hopefully, we stay undefeated. I do like that coach you got there. 3 minutes.
You're going to get your cheeks clapped.
Let's see. Let's go. I'm excited. But yeah, let's get it. Thank you for having that little time on SC.
Well, guys, man, it's been another interesting episode, the Premium Takes podcast. You guys have your final thoughts, man, before we get up out of here?
This time next week, you'll be crowning me again, week 2 champion. and when we do. So I can't even hold it together over here. No, I'm just kidding. Enjoy week 2, people. It's going to be fun. That's why we play the games, because that's why we play them. And hopefully our picks go the way we think they go. But knowing the NFL, they're not.
Yeah, hopefully we go out there, we get the win against Arizona. We can enjoy it for a week until we have to go lose against San Francisco.
Not even a week. We get 3 days.
Yeah, 3 days. So we just need some life in that building. You know what I'm saying? That's all we need is some life in that building. And as much as
you lose to Cardinals, good night, the lights.
Yeah, as much as I got mad at him for only winning Berkeley 12 times and going away from that. I got more mad at him for marching out Daniel Jones when in that rain with like 5 minutes left. But that being said, you can't. I just want to say this. I hear a lot of Giants fans talking crap. It's one game, guys. It's one game. This guy is the coach of the year. Hopefully, we can get it together. And he can't play. He can't go out there and play for the players. The players have to play for themselves. So hopefully, we can get it together. And let's just cut the hate on Dable. If he goes 0-16, then please go right ahead. But it's one game, guys, against a really good team that's probably going to do that against the Jets. So we'll see what happens.
Me, no mess, no nest, no jets. I hope you are right, sir. But we got to worry about the Cardinals right now because after that
Mm-hmm.
game in Dallas, man, we can't look past anybody right now at all. We are definitely not in that kind of position. And San Fran is the same kind of animal the Dallas Cowboys are. So hopefully we can get our shit together on a short week visiting them, man, out there. But we'll get to
Let me
that
put it
after
this
we
way.
take care of the Cardinals, hopefully.
I don't want to be Daniel Jones the next 2 weeks, okay? Because you're not going back home to sleep in your own bed. You might get beat up by this Cardinal defense that's not that bad. By the way, the Cardinals know how to play us because their coach was the Philadelphia Eagle coach last year. So there's not going to be any surprises there. And they had 6 sacks against the Commanders, who have a slightly better O line than we do. So you know, just tread lightly with what you say. You don't puff your chest out yet. We haven't won nothing, and there is a possibility, albeit slight, that we could also end up 0-2 if we don't take care of business on Sunday.
Yeah, I just want to just worry about the Arizona Cardinals for right now, and then we after that game, then we can start looking at San Fran, man. But thank everybody, man. No mess, no nest, no Jets. Always, man, coming through, hanging out, holding it down for us. Raphael, Alex from Big Blue in the Bronx, Wales, Philly halftime, Logan, man. Much appreciated, man. Much appreciate you guys coming through, chilling with us on our little late night premium take stream that we bring it to y'all every Friday night. Maybe next Friday we'll actually be on at 9 o'clock p.m. Is that right, Zion?
That should be confirmed.
As opposed to
Yes,
10 o'clock.
yes, yes.
All
Absolutely.
right. And I'm Mac the Giants fan. That's Zion Zenith. That's Adam Costas. And we know we do this for our guy Jeff NYG, Jeffy T. Throw them fours up for our guy, man. This has been the Premium Take Podcast, man. And we'll see y'all next Friday, man. Pass!